Yes, sir. What's good, Josh? Your man, Two Flows, with another video, you dig? Now, in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down the quote of the week, number 2. Now, before I go into this and start breaking down and giving analogies and on what this can mean and what this does mean to me and, stuff like that, along the lines of I'm going to be doing this every week if you haven't caught on by now. Now, the reason why I do this is simply because these are quotes that need to be heard, and I'd rather not do a quote of the day because if I do a quote of the day, nobody's going to understand it. Nobody's really going, you'll understand it, but nobody's going to have time to live it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect you guys to live what I'm speaking in a day. I want you to have the rest of the week to hear this video. Quote of the week, not of the day. Your trials and tribulations and your problems are most likely going to happen this week. By the time Sunday hits, hopefully you watch this video multiple times because I'm pouring out everything in here. I want you guys to understand that everything I'm speaking, I truly believe, I truly strive to live by to the fullest. And yeah, so let's get it. Now the quote is, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden." To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. I hear that in hard times, when bad things happen and negativity arises, such as negative viewpoints, negative opinions, negative aspects, negative concepts, negative ways of thinking of things, negative things to say on things, negative things to point out, just all around negative things to do as a result. Anytime that we think of something negative to say, we are giving the negativity power. When we give negativity power, we cut off all opportunities for positivity that very same instant. Examples of giving negativity power would be if you lost your phone and all you were to say was, "Now I can't do this and I can't do that. I can't call this person. I can't do that." No matter what the circumstances may be, maybe speaking negative will only ruin your mood. Because even if you do find your phone, you've already spoken so much negativity that it's hard to let go. You're still frustrated. You still have anger and frustration within you that even when the problem is solved, you find it difficult to just let it go. It's because of the negativity. Here's my proof. and reasoning. When you're positive and you lose something, and then you find it while staying positive, it's almost as if it never even happened. But when you lose something and you're negative, you're angry, you're mad, you're frustrated, even after you find it, why are you still frustrated? When you say things such as, see, this is why I hate that, things such of that nature, you're breeding the negativity. And negativity doesn't need a reason. It just needs a host and a plan to carry out. Negativity is self-destructive and self-punishing. As I said before, negativity does not need a reason. Many people in your family, your circle, your professional team will speak on negativity, will breed negativity. They can be one of the most positive people that you know about and still give attention to negativity. Does that make them a negative person? I don't think so. No, it doesn't. It just means that, like many others, they too are still weak to the powers of negativity. And the fact that they are seen as the most positive people that you know shows the strength of negativity when given attention. And that is why to bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. Misfortune would be the problem. To get through your problems with a calm mind, not just looking on the bright side, not just looking on the greener side of the grass, but understanding how it all lays out. When I was younger, I used to hear a lot that there are bigger problems than the problems that I'm going through, which is fine. That's a fine thing to say, fine thing to understand, but at the same time, I don't want to think about problems at all. Thinking about problems that aren't mine won't solve mine. Only the solution. Now, if I can hear how their problems were solved, maybe I would have come up with a solution of my own. But if all I heard was that people have bigger problems than mine, I would never resonate with it, because I would say, though that sounds harsh, that does absolutely nothing for me. Hopefully they can deal with their problem, but I still need to deal with mine. So for those who have children and people who look up to them in any way for assistance or guidance, be mindful of the things that you say and try not to speak in such a manner, because a person with a problem only wants to hear a solution. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. There are many problems that we speak on to this day. But if we bear these trials with a calm mind, we wouldn't be speaking specifically on the events that happen to one individual. This is where the example comes in. And this is why I didn't make a video on this before. So consider this the video now. Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. I know. Tired of hearing it too? So am I. Why are these situations? Well, I must backtrack. Why is this situation so important? Overall, it's really not. But it serves as a reminder of what we should really be talking about. Now, there are many things. Once again, I should backtrack. Instead of talking about it, we should do something about it. This would be considered the trials and misfortune. Without going into details, it is said that Tory Lanez, the rapper, shot Meg Thee Stallion, the rapper / singer. Now, why this is trending? Because they're two giant stars. In other words, they get a lot of attention. The internet has a very hard time with seeing things as the big picture. Something I hear a lot on the internet goes along the lines of bringing awareness. Bring awareness to this. Bring awareness to that. I'm pretty sure that human beings who live on Earth and go through human problems are very aware of the human problems that human beings go through on Earth. The only thing that we should be bringing awareness to are our own individual problems and other problems that can very easily become our own individual problems. Now, one may think this is where I contradict my point, but instead, this is where I get to the point. The Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion situation may not be our problem, but it is too specific, too controllable, too avoidable to be spoken on with such force, such attention, such emotion, such blame, and I will break these down as well. The attention problem is that when people look at this and look at a specific person's situation, the more you go into detail, you are already in a trap. Because when we look at their situation and we look at what this person was doing and what that person was doing and what this person was drinking and what that person was drinking and what car this person was driving, what clothes this person was wearing, we begin to create a mental picture within the realm of negativity to judge those who wear and who resemble anything that these people that who resemble any of the details that were in this case, along with being black. Or as I should say, along with their race, period. The internet is the most prejudiced, the most racist thing to be created. And by internet, I mean the internet. Specifically, though, I am speaking on Twitter. Now, of course, I cannot speak on everything on the internet, but Twitter and social media sites are really more so, I should say. So that's a backtrack. More so, social media is racist, prejudice, and everything that it denies and denounces and tries to quote unquote cancel. Cancel culture is the most prejudiced, the most racist, the most negative. Cancel culture is what happens when we spend all of our time in negativity. To have the power to cancel things and make it a culture just speaks on how negative we really have gone, on how deep within the negative zone we have gone. There is a cancel culture, but not a creation culture. Why is there a cancel culture, but not a creation culture? You see, social media culture tends to show and only prove time and time again that the only thing that it wants and plans to achieve is destruction, divide and conquer, and complete control. Social media is not a therapist. Social media drops a few gems, but as a whole, it is entirely addicting. So, listening to things on social media such as trending topics, celebrity gossip, cheap entertainment, things along that line, will only send you further down the rabbit hole. And at the end of that rabbit hole is cancel culture. I believe that cancel culture is the epitome of social media. Cancel culture chooses backtrack. Cancel culture does not have the power that it so seeks, which is why it is still alive and thrives today. Now, the things that I've seen cancel culture cancel, some of it needed to be canceled. Actually, a good number of it needed to be canceled. Honestly, I think I may have to backtrack the good number because I may just be having my mind and memories mixed up with the attention that it got more so than the actual amount of negative things that it actually canceled. Now, perfect example would be a show on Netflix that goes by the name of Cuties, where there are young female or young children dancing inappropriately, dressing inappropriately, and cancel culture tried to cancel Netflix. They tried to cancel the show, but to my knowledge, it seems like the show is still on. Cancel culture has very limited power. Now, we can sit here all day and do hand paintings talking about the positive things that cancel culture has done, but it's a cancel culture. Nothing positive can come out of a cancel anything. Although they may have succeeded in lowering the attention, it just shows that they will only designate that sort of power, which really comes from freedom. They will only designate that power to one thing at a time. And for the most part, it has to do with cheap entertainment. And that brings me straight to Tory Lanez. That is where we bring this entire talk backtrack. We are not bringing this entire talk to Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. Cancel culture has tried to do it again. But this time, instead of canceling a clear case of pedophilia, they are canceling an artist for an incident they have absolutely no clue about and how it went down. The way cancel culture attacked Tory Lanez was by saying that altogether we will not listen to this mixtape or album that he dropped because of the bad news that circles around him. Cancel culture to me almost sounds like demons working for the hierarchy of hell. Because I have yet to see a creation culture. I don't expect cancel culture to create anything. When it comes to the support and creation culture, nothing happens. Nothing. Not much progress is made, to my knowledge. When there are artists and positive artists trying to speak positivity, nobody supports them. If so, a few hundred, maybe a few thousand with endorsements. And not the ones who are supporting them with the endorsements. They're supporting them because they have endorsements, because they are already famous, because they have already done about 75% of the work. The internet does the 20%, and then they have to hire people to do the 5%. Or they have to work for the company to do the 5%, however it may go. Now, with Tory Lanez and cancel culture, it has shown me that cancel culture, being as biased as it is, has really made a name for itself, so to speak, within the music industry, more so the hip hop community. Now, many outrageous things have been said within the hip hop community, such as Rick Ross saying, "I put it in her drink, she ain't even know it." Such as T.I. talking about taking his daughter to the gynecologist, and Tory Lanez with this situation. Now, anytime I catch myself looking into detail within these situations, I have nothing against these artists. They make good music. I can't say such for Meg Thee Stallion because I don't listen to her music. But I've heard Tory Lanez. I've heard many valuable messages come from Tory Lanez. I'm not a fan. I'm a fanatic of nobody other than myself. So understand me when I say this. I am choosing no sides. But with Tory Lanez, and Meg Thee Stallion, I've realized that the more I've read into it, the more, anytime that I catch myself swimming through the details, I realize that there's nothing to look for. We are not the judge. We are not the jury. And if we have things to live for, we are not the executioners. So, if we're not any of that, and those are already provided, why do we still give these things attention? It's not to bring awareness. That's a lie. That is the biggest lie on the internet. We are aware of these problems. People, see, the thing is, after problems such as this happen, we don't care to the point, backtrack. This is not about bringing awareness. We know just bringing awareness means nothing. Bringing awareness, do you want to know what that looks like in a physical form? We see it almost every day. Hell, we grew up on it. A fist fight. After school, two kids are fighting, punching each other's faces up, bleeding, broken nose. Whatever the reason is, completely doesn't matter. This is the result. They're fighting. Everybody around is taking out their camera phones. They're recording. They're laughing. Sending it to each other. They're sending it to each other, and they're putting it on the internet. What are those people doing? Are they bringing awareness? Yes, they are. Because if you're not going to jump in the fight and break it up and spit some knowledge to your so-called people, you're not bringing awareness. We tend to bring awareness to things that we don't put much energy into solving. Backtrack on the not bringing awareness. You are bringing awareness if you're recording a fight and not doing nothing, because that is what bringing awareness really looks like in its pure form. But bringing awareness comes before taking action. Many on the internet that I've seen on Twitter don't sound like those who take action. Now, I have absolutely no clue what people do after they get off of their phones. I have no clue what people do behind their accounts in real life. I don't know these people. But one thing I do know is an excuse in plain sight. One thing I do know is when somebody tries to speak themselves out of responsibility before they can even start. I want to go deeper into the examples, but I think it's better we just stay on the bigger picture from now. Now, Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. I feel I've spoken on everything, but at the moment, I'm just trying to find a closing statement. The deal with the attention that they're getting, with the emotions that are built up from things like this, is that the things that people are saying, the opinions, so many of them remain unqualified. So many of these opinions remain unqualified. They have 0 points to make. They completely miss their point, and majority of them are emotional. Mind you, there are young children on the internet who will listen to one thing that they agree with. They're not looking for knowledge. They're looking for what agrees with them. They're not looking for knowledge. They're looking for friends. And they will live together with these opinions. That is why personally I feel that social media is honestly one of the worst things to ever happen and fall in the hands of the youth, because the youth have a tendency, the weak-minded have a tendency to not want to hear their own responsibilities thrown back at them or shown to them. Because when you're told what you need to do, accusations come by the tenfold. When you're told what you need to do, getting angry and accusing has always been a scapegoat and a way to leave responsibility behind. Being defensive is one of the main powers behind the cancel culture. If being defensive was a person and the cancel culture was an actual company, being defensive will be the CEO. It would be. Being defensive would be the CEO. Because a lot of the things that are being canceled, that are being trending on the internet, are so specific, so minuscule, that we completely forget the bigger picture. We forget why we feel negative, why we allow negativity to even be spoken within our same breath, when we're not even within the same region nor vicinity of the topics being spoken upon. We don't even know these people, and yet we talk about them every day like they live in a house with us. Like we see them every day. We choose to see the negativity every day. My issue is, when I was younger and there wasn't a Twitter, nothing was trending. Before social media became to rise and take hold of the emotions of the youth and the attentions of the people. Before that, the last time I've seen people get riled up, hurt, emotional, all at the same time, with such a force, was 9/11. And I remember the energy of that day, regardless of how young I was. I remember the energy of that day. Now, if I can remember the energy of that day and I can equate it to the things that I'm hearing on the likes of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, things of that nature, I'm realizing that we take other people's problems entirely too seriously. Now, I could say Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion aren't going to do anything for you. And I see the comparisons of focus points that people want to use with this, such as the Breonna Taylor case, which I will be speaking on in a few moments. But these are not our problems. This Well, not the Breonna Taylor case. I'm going to be speaking on that. But if we want to talk specifically bigger, no. If backtrack, if we want to talk bigger picture wise, which we should always stay on, we would quickly realize that these are just two pieces to the puzzle of a billion issues, but the puzzle is of the whole of our people. The puzzle spells out, when the pieces are put together, the issue at hand in which we need to deal with. Now, we can sit here talking about every issue that we go through, but if we don't have a solution, we're just talking and talking and talking. And if there's anything the internet is good at, it's talking. If there's anything social media and cancel culture are good at, it is talking and talking and talking and talking. Not much is being done unless it comes time to destroy something. Not much is being done until it comes time to bring somebody down. Now, I can sit here and bring y'all down by saying statements of such nature as, you guys always talk about this, you guys don't think. I won't do that because I don't know you guys individually, as a group. I don't know you, and I won't speak that to you, because if you are not doing such things, you don't need to hear that. But when I speak, I will remain and try to remain on broader speech, because the picture is broad, the picture is big. The solution is simple. Teach yourself. Anything that anybody can bring up, I don't care what it is, teach yourself. Breonna Taylor case, rest her soul. But we must speak on this. This is one person. She's not the only one to go through this, but this is one person. The focus, the anger, the disappointment is very understandable. But if all we can come up with definitively is a cancel culture, we should not be surprised that cases like these will continue to fall in favor of those who committed the crime when they are part of the law enforcement. We've seen this happen years and years again. And what disappoints me, if I let it, what irks my nerves, if I allow it, is When people say, when will this stop? It will never stop. Newsflash. This will never stop. I stopped listening to situations like this long before George Floyd. They gave George Floyd a gold casket, like that was supposed to do something, like that was gonna change something. What is the difference of having a regular casket and a gold casket? He's dead. He's dead. The cops did it. Breonna Taylor is dead. The cops did it. They got away with it. I'm done talking about what our people are doing, because it's become irrelevant. It is entirely irrelevant. The only relevant thing is these cops keep getting away and we keep asking questions. The same question. When is it? It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. Listen. It is never going to stop. Are y'all listening? Oh, am I offending anybody with the truth? Situations like these are happening as I speak. There are black people being hung as I speak. There is negativity constantly going on as I speak. As you sleep, as you eat, as you walk, as you breathe. This will never stop when we feel and have hidden the sense of entitlement to the point where we created a cancel culture. We use the powers of cancel culture to try and arrest police officers who are clearly in the wrong. Now, I'm well aware there are people who are standing outside marching and screaming and throwing things at people, but snatching flags, I mean, this is all child's play. How many of those people are willing to join together and start their own law firm? How many of those people are willing to pool money together and create a community with a real defense system and police themselves? How many of those thousands marching the streets are willing to pool their money together and become a force to be reckoned with? I didn't think so. But I am still wondering. But at this point, with all those people walking and marching together, why is there still no progress? How many times do we have to march to finally get the bright idea to, instead of holding up traffic, Meet at a designated location and talk business. Meet at a designated location and talk ownership, entrepreneurship, building, not canceling. Some people like to watch the world burn, and those people are the cancel culture. The cancel culture will manifest into something so despicable, so controlled, so childish, so mediocre, so disgusting that we'll wonder how it even came to be. I'll tell you how it comes to be before it even happens. Social media, the attention to detail for egotistical reasons. We watch celebrities like a hawk just to cancel them because we believe that canceling the rich is taking back power. That's not taking power. You're using the only power that you can ever have when you're staying on social media. Cancel culture is the most despicable thing to ever happen. Now, my viewers, I do not want you to feel negative off of what I say. Whether you agree with it or not, even if you do agree with it, we're talking on negativity and but hear me and hear me well. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. What is the point of all of this talk? Of bringing up these topics? It is to understand that when we talk on these topics, we must remain calm. Our mind must be calm. And these are not necessarily our trials. These are not necessarily our misfortunes. They are constant reminders that instead of focusing on the bigger picture, we would rather argue about every crumb that falls off of the table. Of our cake. We say that life is a marathon. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. But yet, we argue and cry and purposely remember and memorialize. Every time we tripped on a pebble, we stubbed our toe, we bumped into a tree, a gust of wind blew our hat off. Life is a marathon. But we keep complaining about every time we trip. We keep complaining about every time we run into something unexpected. Do you want to get to where you need to go or not? Having a calm mind not only robs misfortune of its strength and burden, but it gives you the clearest view of the opportunities that you have at hand. When you are not fully into achieving your goal, you don't look at opportunities as opportunities. You look at chaos as chaos. One with a calm mind does not only find peace in chaos. There's a reason why, matter of fact. Why they find peace. It is because they find opportunity. In chaos, there is opportunity. You have to see the benefit of doing it first before you do it. The issue is with these topics, the cancel culture, I should say. Sorry, I feel like my mustache is uneven. I'll fix that. The cancel culture, I should say, doesn't look into situations for benefit. They look into it for destruction. That's why they're always chaotic. That's why the internet and social media is always chaotic. It never looks for anything to get out of it. It only just says bring awareness. We're aware. Now what? I imagine these trending topics like a room in a building. We're taking a tour in the house or museum of social media, right? I think, right? What if when social media is dead and gone, they create a museum for every trending topic? And every room had items and tweets posted up on the wall about a specific topic. One is the COVID-19 museum part, right? The COVID-19 exhibit. The second one is the Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion exhibit. The other one is the Black Murder exhibit. Yeah. You will walk out of that exhibit, out of that museum, feeling nothing but fear. You will not be educated on anything. You would not learn any useful information, I guarantee you. If they were to make a museum of Twitter, Facebook, and anything that we have, not just negative, anything that we have made a trending topic, we would leave that museum not knowing anything useful to progress in life. And that is why I believe that cancel culture will become a monster, but that is not the conclusion of this video. Before we leave this video, we will take some deep breaths to regain our control, our realization of who we are, and our sense of self, and aim toward what we plan to achieve. Here we have stopped to touch on a few things. Here, we have understood from a higher, more mature perspective, more progressive perspective of where social media is headed, where it is beneficial for those who have the power but not the influence. We have the influence. No, backtrack and switcheroo. They have the influence. We have the power. Just because everyone around you is eating garbage doesn't mean that you have to. These companies with their money and their flashiness and whatever else influences their commercials, it's peer pressure. It's peer pressure. But to bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. To bear trials with a calm mind robs peer pressure of its strength and burden. To remain calm through hard times. Nobody can pressure you into doing anything, because when you're scared, only then can you be controlled. When you're shaken up, you can't think correctly. And the solution that they give you always comes right before you become conscious enough to make your own decision and gather your own data, gather your own realization. Before you can think, they direct you into the gates of hell. But because you watch this, your mind has become 10 times stronger. Understand that. Relive those traumatic moments over and over again until you extract the message, the lesson, every single lesson. I extract everything. That is why you don't hear me talking about my past. You don't hear me talking about the negative things that have happened. Those don't control my life, because I pulled everything out of it. Everything I possibly could. I revisited just to see if there's anything else left. If it wants to keep popping up in my head, then that's what we're gonna do. If the negativity and negative memories wants to keep popping up in my head, the trauma, then that's what we gonna do. And I'm gonna take everything you got. I'm going to take everything, every positive lesson, and the negativity will die off. And I will laugh every time. Because at the end of the day, if there's nothing to learn from negativity, it won't even last. It won't hold a spot within your mind. That is why we have to keep being fed negativity in order for us to remain scared, because negativity does not stay in our mind for long if it has nothing for us to learn from. Paranoia is when we take these lessons all at once and we turn them into tactics. But the issue with paranoia is that we don't give these tactics any respect because we haven't taken every single lesson out of the trauma. That's why there are people who have been threatened with at gunpoint for the first time, and then all of a sudden give them about a few months later and there are guns all over their house. They have extra security, this, that, and they're still super scared because they didn't take everything out of that moment. They didn't squeeze all the juice out of that situation, that specific memory. They didn't do it. But in order to do that, it has to be your goal to do so. Because right now you are living in chaos. For those with PTSD, right now you are living in chaos. It's a lot to think about. So one thing you must do is demand your time and space. Relive those moments as many times as you can. The way I see it is, think of it as the roadrunner and the ostrich, or meat. The ostrich can be you or your trauma. Vice versa as well with the coyote. You can either chase the problem when you find use for it, or you can continue to be chased by the problem when you only see the use it has for you. You can chase the problem when it finds use for you, when you find use for it. Or you can continue being chased by the problem when you only see the use it has for you. If I'm getting chased by a bear, or no, if I'm getting chased by a chicken, I'm not going to stop running until I get hungry, until I need food, or until I see that chicken as food, until I see a benefit in attacking and killing that chicken and draining it of every ounce of everything that's in it. Only then will my fear dissipate into the back of my mind, or into the wind, or into the realm of non-existence. Only then will I act accordingly and not only solve my problem, but find a solution. Because remember, no problem can be solved if you're not looking for a solution. Now we breathe. I appreciate you stopping by and giving me your time. You won't regret using this quote. So until next time, peace out.